Hey Torch Kids, it's Virginia. Whoa, what was that? This week is all about being quick and moving whenever God asks you to move. I hope you guys have enjoyed this series. It's our very last week and we're so sad, but we're so excited for our new and upcoming series, Everyday Armor, and we hope to see you there.
Don't worry, just lay it down, it's not your fight. Don't worry, it'll be alright. Don't worry, He will make your heavy light. Don't worry at all, worry at all. His love is always right on time. I've been trying to figure out my own way, trying to put it all on me. Way down by the pressure, without looking up, I know you see me. Cause on and on you keep blessing me, but on and on I keep worrying. Why I'm always running when you're telling me, don't worry, just lay it down, it's not your fight. Don't worry, it'll be alright. Don't worry, He will make your heavy light. Don't worry at all, worry at all. Love is always right on time. Right on time. Rise up, get clean, throw 'em on like I'ma wear 'em. Ain't got the shoulders for the burdens I'm bearing. Broke down and pulling over by the wayside. Was never made for this type of weight, so I throw my hands up and my load gets lighter. I throw my hands up and then burn like fire. Float up to heaven like the smoke in the air. I flip my worries in the prayer, leave 'em right there. Just lay it down, it's not your fight. Don't worry, it'll be alright. Don't worry, He will make your heavy light. Don't worry at all, worry at all. His love is always right on time. Right on time, right on time. Right on time, right on time, right on time. Time to make home. Yeah. I know your problems seem God-sized. If you can see them through God's eyes. Take a look, see. If you can only see them through God's eyes, yeah. I know your problems seem God-sized. If you can see them through God's eyes, yeah. He's right on time, right on time. Just lay it down, it's not your fight. Don't worry, it'll be alright. Don't worry, He will make your heavy light. Don't worry at all, worry at all. His love is always right. Don't worry at all, worry at all. His love is always right on time. Right on time, right on time. Love is right on time, right on time, right on time, right on time. Right on time, right on time, right on time. Right on time, right on time, right on time. Right on time. On and on, you keep right on time. Can't thank you enough. Right on time. Right on time. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey kids, you know what today is? It's Sunday! And you know what happens on Sundays. Oh, that crazy exercise lady, Miss Simmons. She comes over here and she wakes me up and she tries to get me to move and exercise, and I don't like it. So I came up with a plan. I am tying myself to this chair. So that way, she won't be able to make me move. No way, no how, it's not gonna happen. Oh, I'm so smart. I am so smart. I will show her that she's not gonna win today. Oh no, I got this. Booyah! Woo!
Oh, Ernest.
Hello, Miss Simmons.
Guess what time it is?
Hey, I'll tell you what time it's not. It's not time for me to get up and move.
Oh, yes it is.
Oh, no, it's not.
Oh, yes it is.
I'm not going to get up and move. There's nothing you can do because, as you can see, I tied myself to a chair. Ain't no way you're gonna make me move today.
You see, I was afraid you might do that. So I took extreme precautions.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. What do you mean extreme?
You see, today the kids are playing this game called Spud.
Spud? I've never even heard of that game. It sounds ridiculous.
You see, in the game, you have an object, you throw it in the air, call out a number, and then everybody has to run as fast as they can to try not to get tagged by that object.
Oh, wow. Woo. That game sounds absolutely terrible.
You know, it reminds me of that guy Philip from the book of Acts who was always on the move.
Yeah. Hey, I've read that story. I've read it like 17 times. So God told Philip to get up and move, and he goes and he finds this Ethiopian, and he tells him about Jesus. And then he goes and talks to all these other people, and he tells them about Jesus. I know that story.
Yep, good old Phil.
Good old Phil.
You know, anytime God told him to move, he moved pretty quickly.
He did. He sure did. So, what does that have to do with me?
You see, I thought that we could play our own version of Spud.
I'm not playing Spud with you because I'm not going to get up and run. I'm not going to catch anything that you throw at me. I'm not going to throw anything back to you. I'm not doing it. I'm tied to my chair.
You know, if I were you, Ernest, I would get untied pretty quickly.
And why, pray tell, would I do that?
You see, I have a grenade.
What? A grenade?
That's right, Ernest. If I were you, I'd run for your life on the count of 3. Ernest, it was just a Spud. See, I got him moving, didn't I?
As the strength and power of the early church grew, so did hatred against it. Persecution increased in Jerusalem, forcing many of the early believers to flee to surrounding areas. But God in His mercy moved the early disciples out of Jerusalem so they could take the good news of Jesus into the world. One of these special servants of God was named Philip. As he was teaching and preaching in Samaria, an angel spoke to him and said, "Journey south to the region of Gaza by taking the road that goes through Jerusalem." He obeyed the call and began the dangerous journey through the very city he earlier was forced to flee. On the same road towards Gaza, he came upon a chariot belonging to an important dignitary. He was an Ethiopian, in charge of all the treasures of an extremely wealthy kingdom, and he was returning from one of the Jewish feasts in Jerusalem. The Spirit of the living God called to Philip, commanding him to approach the chariot. So Philip ran and caught up to the Ethiopian. As he approached the chariot, he heard the Ethiopian reading from the book of Isaiah, one of the books of the prophets. Philip asked him, "Do you understand what you are reading?" The Ethiopian replied, "How can I? I have no one to help me understand what is written in it." With that, he eagerly invited Philip to come sit with him in the chariot. Not only was the Ethiopian reading from the book of Isaiah, but astonishingly, it was a passage specifically talking about Jesus the Messiah. God had perfectly arranged for Philip to explain this important passage that, years before, had predicted the coming of Jesus. They began reading together. Like a sheep he was led to the slaughter, and like a lamb before its shearer is silent, so he opened not his mouth. In his humiliation, justice was denied him. Who can describe his generation? For his life is taken away from the earth. The Ethiopian asked Philip, "Who is this man who quietly and willingly gave up his life?" Philip began to boldly preach to him the good news, how Jesus was the sacrificial lamb described in the passage, who had offered himself up to be crucified on the cross, and who had been slain for the sins of the world. He explained all about the salvation through Jesus, and the Ethiopian believed. As they continued along the road, he came upon some water. Eagerly, the Ethiopian said, "What's to prevent me from being baptized right now?" The Ethiopian walked with Philip down to the water and was baptized. In this act of faith, he was washed clean from sin and became a disciple of Jesus the Messiah. As soon as the Ethiopian came up from the water, Philip was miraculously taken from that place and transported to another town. The beautiful gospel of Jesus continued to spread. The Ethiopian was overjoyed and went home a changed man, and God moved Philip to his next mission in another town. The kingdom of God was expanding, and God's salvation was reaching to the very ends of the world.
Hey guys, Pastor Sonia here with Torchkids Elementary Demorest. Just wanted to touch base with you a little bit today about our Bible story, Philip and the Ethiopian, but I also wanted to touch base with you about a story of obedience that's near and dear to my heart. So in our Bible story today, Philip, who was a disciple of Jesus, was very quick to obey when the Lord asked him to do something. And when he obeyed, not only was Philip blessed, but an Ethiopian's life was changed forever. Not only was the Ethiopian saved, but he was baptized in the same day, all because of Philip's obedience, his quick obedience. So I wanted to share a little bit about how those kind of obediences still happen today when we are faithful and when we honor God. A few years ago, it's been quite a few years ago now, my daughter, Josie, who was small at the time, my husband David and I were outside in our yard, which is where I am now. And a guy goes by on a horse. He has a beautiful big brown horse, a cowboy hat on, and he proceeds to go by our yard. And after he goes by our yard, he turns around, he comes into our driveway, and he ties his horse off just like a cowboy would in the old days, right here on this very bush behind me. He hops off with his cowboy boots. He walks over to us, takes off his cowboy hats, and introduces himself as Jeff. And he says, "The Lord prompted his heart to invite us to come to church. And the church that he was inviting us to was Baldwin Church of God, which all of you guys know as the Torch today. And when we went, we bundled ourselves up. We bundled our child up the very next time that we were able to go to service. We went to church. We fell in love with it as soon as we went through the door. It's never been another church for us except the Torch. And not only did we fall in love with God and fell in love with the changes that God did with our own lives, but we fell in love with the people at our church. They're family to us. All of you guys, your parents, all of you guys are family to us. And so by the obedience of Cowboy Jeff, we are able to now just look back and see how by his simple obedience and his prompting that God gave him, that's what God used to draw us to our church. And not only were we able to be ministered to ourselves, myself, my husband, my small daughter Josie, but also Titus and Sadie, our children that we had after we started attending the church. And how powerful is that a whole family's life was changed by one person's obedience. So in looking at that, now I can look back and say, wow, without Jeff's obedience, I wouldn't be a children's pastor today. My family wouldn't, my husband David wouldn't get up and speak in front of you guys at Demarest today. You know, my daughter Josie, would she be saved? Would Titus and Sadie be saved and baptized if it wasn't for the obedience of Cowboy Jeff? So I wanted to share with you today how incredible that is. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about making sure that when you feel that unction of the Lord, when you feel that desire that the Lord has for you to talk to somebody, or maybe it's something small, maybe it's a friend at school, maybe it's someone down your road, a neighbor that you get to play with in your subdivision. You never know what the small things that God asks you to do can yield really big results. So I just wanted to share that with you today and tell you that we love you guys. We are so excited that you're with us today. We hope you've enjoyed your series Move. Next week, we're going to start a new series called Everyday Armor, all about the armor of God, and we're going to have a great time doing so. So we love you today. We hope you have a blessed day, blessed Memorial Day weekend, and we'll see you soon.